Hey everybody, welcome to Agent School Reports, Sunday's Q&A, where we bring you the tough questions that you should ask before you sign that contract. So over the last couple of Sundays, we've talked about interviewing, look at me, got everything backwards, researching your companies, understanding the commission structure, looking at your contract terms and conditions, training and support, and how you should interview every agency or manager that you're part of, and even down to interviewing a couple of their agents. Remember, not a top performing agent or a low performing agent. Find a couple in the middle that are consistently doing like 5 to 10K, because that's really where your true aim is, to find a sort of sense of balance and consistency. So we're going to be jumping into, reviewing the company policies, which this couldn't have come at a better week. I legitimately, as you guys know, we have the Great Reset podcast where insurance meets accountability, and we interview top recruiters, agency owners, managers, consumers, agents that are in the business, agents that are walking out the business, agents that are just taking a chill for a business. That is what we do, and we bring their stories and their experience so that we can continue to inform the uninformed, because let's be honest, there is nothing out there that'll help you open up and look inside this industry and see what's going on. And this is the place to do it, using real voices and using each other's voices to amplify our message. So again, we're going to jump into company policies. And one of the girls that I got an opportunity, she was recommended to me, was telling me about an agency she's a part of where, again, unbeknownst to her and the way things were set up with her agency, they were having her do 25% commission splits with her upline and having to put his agent number on there. And then they were like, hey, you got to get 15% over here. That already sounds very much illegal AF. So this is what I'm talking about. When you see something, say something. Those things don't make sense, because you should be wholeheartedly made aware of things like that, especially when it comes to your commission and how you're getting paid. Again, those things should be brought up front. I shouldn't be signing a contract, then right when I'm getting the right business, somehow your name is on it. Like, don't you already get an override? Like, let's be realistic here. So again, that's why it's so important for you to review the policies and transparency, like requests. So this is where I'm at. If it's not in writing, it's not real. So I would request their policies in writing. Anything that they are saying you have to, must do, got to do, show me in writing. I need to see it. And it needs to be along the lines, because if we're talking about independent agencies, that means everybody must be abiding by this. And if it means that every agency is different and they think they're different, okay, baby, then we need to move to another agency. You know what I'm saying? But again, that is not something that is normal. No one should be taking your commission, especially when it comes to splits. But we're probably going to jump on that on another next time talk. And she'll be on an episode soon, so you'll be seeing all that hot tea. So understanding their policies is very, very important, and how they execute their business, and how they, how they execute their business, how they do their training, how they do their hiring and recruiting. All of those things are very, very important, because they will hold you accountable to those things. And if that's the case, you should be made aware of those policies so that you understand how to execute your business. Any surprises should be a massive red flag. I would even look at carrier relationships. What carriers do they work with? Are they reputable business? And ensure you're not limited to subpar products. That is so important. There's so many companies out there that are loud and proud. They pay a really good commission. So a lot of times that blinds our agents, where they don't dig deeper. You have to check the products and compare them to the other products that you offer and make sure it makes sense. Just because it has bells and whistles doesn't mean it's beneficial to your client. So for instance, there's a product out there that seems really, really good. It comes with a lot of benefits. The thing is, it automatically puts a client at a table 3 rating for a simplified issue product, which is absolutely insane when it's not the best product on the market. And then on top of it, this is a term product that offers a cash back return. Unfortunately, that cash back is also coupled with living benefits. And I said unfortunately for a reason, because the way it's promoted, they make it seem like you get both, when in actuality, it's one or the other. Because if you activate the living benefits, pulling from that death benefit in order to take some money out of your policy, when you activate those living benefit riders, you lose that cash back. And if you're not aware of that, baby, you're not doing your homework. This is why I tell every agent that I had hired and recruited in the past that every time I got a new carrier, I always downloaded the products, put them into like my OneDrive folder, Google Drive for y'all with the Androids and whatnot, or the Gmail account still. And I would sit there and I would read them at night in my spare time, and I would go through all the products and look at it. I would look at the applications, look at the questions that they were asking. I got to the point where I felt like I was one of those doctor shows when they're trying to figure out what's wrong with the body and they imagine the anatomy on top of their head. I do that with applications. When the client starts telling me they got diabetes, they had a heart attack, they're on a CPAP, I'm like moving applications around in my head and I'm like, aha, this is where we're going. Like, you need to get that efficient with your policies, but you won't do that if you don't read the product. So just taking their word for it is not it. Again, even here, you have to trust but verify. And that's why you want to do that before you jump. I had a woman call me the other day who literally left a company because another one was going to pay her 15% more. But the way their SOP was set up, she was going to be writing really bad policies for clients that I could easily go right behind her and replace. Again, she made that jump because of the money, and she did not read into what she was getting into. So the trade-off was subpar products, subpar training, and subpar communication from the person that brought her over there. And that person was her friend. See what I'm saying? Always trust but verify. And moving on to commissions. So make sure you verify the commission tiers. Understand this. When someone says you have 100% comp, 115, 80%, 50%, any percentage, that does not always mean you are going to get that when you get paid, because what you have to understand, different products have different risks and different, and those risks will gauge the prices on those things, right? So term has a less than a 2% payout again, and that's why it's so cheap, because term terminates, right? So that's why that makes sense. And so those products tend to pay subpar, right? And then you have whole life products that may pay on the target premium, and then you have whole life ones that go based off of what the premium the client is paying itself. And then again, accidental could be paid out in many different ways. Sometimes you're only getting, a portion of it. They only give you like the first 3 or 6 months. And again, that's just the way it's set up. You have to understand those things because you don't want surprises. When I first got in, I was writing accidental policies thinking I was about to get paid. And then I'm like, wait a minute, my client's paying $80 a month. That's like, the math is, that's looking like $960, but then I only got a check for $300. Come to find out, the way that policy was structured up, they only paid a certain amount out over time, and you would have to wait for the rest. So if you're running your business and you're expecting $960, that might put a hole in your week, especially if you're purchasing leads, if you're a part of a company that purchases leads, or you need to buy and sustain your business, and again, or paying yourself. That might go your personal paycheck for that week because you were not aware of how the commission tiers work when it comes to the products. So understand that your commission is different for every single product. I can't tell you the amount of time I have asked someone, hey, what is your commission on this product? They're, oh, I'm 80%. I'm like, not for that one. I know what company you work at, because certain companies, depending on what their focus is, that is going to dictate where the commission is. There's a lot of companies that are final expense facing, so they tend to make those comps lower because that's their focus, and then the terms will be higher. And same for the other way. Sometimes companies are term facing, so the term will pay more and the final expense will pay less because they want to deter you from selling those products, and they want you to sell the fast cash ones. But again, that's different from every company. And if you can pay attention to that, you can pay attention to where they're going, because understand this when it comes to insurance. It is not a one size fit all. It's a one size fit most. So you kind of want to stay away from companies that just want to focus on one product, because that is going to limit what you are going to be able to offer your clients. Because someone like me, who is a broker, who has tons of carriers, tons of access, tons of knowledge, can come behind you and really take care of that entire family. And don't be surprised if an agent change comes onto your policy that you wrote on them and they replace you with me, because I offer so much more where they don't need to keep shopping around and going other places, because I'm a one-stop shop. So again, you want to put yourself in an advantage if you're going to jump into it, because this is a business. It's commission, meaning you do not have a guaranteed check coming in all the time. So you should guarantee that you are in the right space. I think I'm going to wrap it up right here, because I'm just like blown away about how much information I can actually pour into these questions. And again, these are the same questions that I give out for an agent interview. If you want this questionnaire, this is the same questionnaire that I'm expecting you guys, even though you're not my agent, to do this. Because if you want to have the best experience, you need to interview people. And this questionnaire is going to give you the best step forward. And mind you, my questionnaire as of now, it's got about 10 questions on it. And the last couple of weeks that we've been doing these Q&As, I'm barely on question 4. That is just how much information is in here. There are things that you may not find out till 3 to 6 months in the business. There are things I'm finding out just last week because of the interviews I'm doing. I'm engaging with people I've never engaged with on such a level like that. And this is why this is so important to network, bring collaboration back, bring stories back, because I'm learning so many opportunities, knowing just really how broad the insurance world is and how we are really only using, like how they say our brain, 10%. We're only using 10% of our life insurance capability. And that's why, again, why the podcast is important, why Agent Score Report is so important, so that we can have a look into the industry and see what's out there and be informed and make the best business decisions. So I'm going to end it on that note. I will be back next Sunday. We are going to keep going through this questionnaire because, as you can see, it is deep. But this is like anything. This is even if you go to like a W-2 job, you should be doing your investigation, seeing what the company culture is like. You have to do this here. So with that being said, thank you for joining me with Sunday's Q&A, and we will be back next week.
Don't forget to check out the Great Reset podcast for insurance news accountability on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and most major networks.